those who got trapped and still didn't get out, now with the kind of, loss that you had just yesterday alone, what do you do for IndusInd?
It's a very tough situation. If you go purely by numbers, I think the overall hit on the net worth is 2.37%, but the cut in the stock price is more than 10 times that. Because banking is more like a business of a faith. And when you are having, you can say, repeated lapses in any bank, whether it is, you can say, on the derivative side, say 6-8 months back, there were problems on the MFI side, which were obviously for the industry as a whole. So it actually shakes the investor interest to some extent. And currently now, if you look at, say, IndusInd Bank, so IndusInd Bank valuations have got better. If you look at like last 5-6 years, there was a time pre-COVID when it used to trade at par or even at a premium to where HDFC Bank used to trade. So the entire banking sector valuations have, you can say, corrected. But IndusInd, I think that there's a loss of, you can say, faith which has happened. That is one. Secondly, post they took over Bharat Financial, the uncertainty in the overall portfolio due to MFI that has been rising. So if you go purely by numbers, I think maybe a quarter or two, even the MFI, I think the pressures they will, you can say, go up. But the main thing is there anything more which is to come by and we need to get? And there has been an incremental trigger that the current CEO, the MD, has been given the extension of only 1 year. So I think they need to, I think there is some course correction which this company needs to, I think, take. So first, I think the slide has to, you can say, stop, and then maybe it might go into a long consolidation like what happened in 2020-21 around COVID. I think that time also the stock came down to around these levels, but over a period of time it recovered. So it's not, I would say, a bad franchisee. So it's not like a run on a bank kind of a situation, but yes, near-term pressures are there and it will take time for the bank to actually come back. So the systems, processes, okay, a lot of things need to change, and it's more like a wait and watch. And in the near term, I think the markets might be more inclined towards, you can say, the time-tested large caps like your ICICI, whatever, and HDFC Bank.
Let's look at the entire banking space per se. And here, if one really looks at this entire MFI exposure, which in a sense has been the trouble point, do you think after the Reserve Bank of India changes in tightening and revisiting the liquidity norms, one could perhaps look at banks with high MFI exposure, which is, let's say, a Bandhan, IDFC Bank?
Yeah, Nikunj, if you look at this entire MFI stroke, unsecured, all these pockets, there has been some sort of a stress from the last 12 to 15 months. Now, whether it is RBI guidelines or, you can say, likely uptick in the economy to some extent, I think this space should, I think it should bottom out. So definitely many of these stocks, if you look at valuations, I think valuations have corrected. However, I think given what has happened with IndusInd Bank, which obviously is the largest in terms of, say, MFI exposure, in terms of absolute size. So I think the confidence has been shaken to some extent. So in the near term, I still prefer that people will go with the top 3-4 players. But yes, for a person who is, you can say, for someone who can afford to take a slight bit of risk, okay, where the valuations are now much lower than where they used to be, yes, some stocks in this space will still bounce back over the next 6 months.
Okay.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.